Children, last class we had derived the relation between the linear velocity and the angular velocity. This relation we had obtained in the last class. V is the linear velocity and omega is the angular. Okay, and R was the radius of the circular path. Now today we are going to do for more of the linear and rotational one. So we have got the formula V is equals to U plus AT. So we can write this formula as omega. So here omega is what? Omega is the initial angular velocity. Omega naught. Omega is the final angular velocity. Right. Alpha is the angular acceleration. And T is the time. Now suppose if I write the formula V square is equals to U square plus 2AS, then it can be written as omega square is equals to omega naught square plus 2 alpha theta. Theta is the angular displacement. Right. So what we have got, we are transforming this from linear to rotational or the circular motion you can say. And we have much more to do. We have got S is equals to UT plus half AT square, and we can easily write it in the formula theta is equals to, generally when we will be doing with the rotational chapter, we are going to take all into account. So this will be omega naught T plus half alpha T square. So these are the major formula how we transform from the linear to the rotational one. We will do it, but today we will be talking one more thing, that is the centripetal acceleration. We will talk about the centripetal acceleration. Now when we write the word centripetal, it means what? It is the center seeking acceleration. And when we derive the relation and we multiply it with the mass, it becomes what? It becomes the force. So in order to get it, let us take, for example, we have taken a circular path. This is the center. Let us assume the particle initially was at P1. After a certain interval, particle is at P2. So this is the angular displacement. Let us get theta, and delta S is the angle. Delta S becomes the, here let us take it as theta. Let us just take it as theta. Don't take it as delta. Let this be an arc. Now the velocity is given by V1 vector. Here the velocity is given by V2 vector. Okay. Now if I take this velocity vector, we write it P. This is V1 vector, and this is V2 vector, and this becomes delta V vector. The angle between the two is again theta. The angle between the two is theta. Let us assume this is O. Okay. Now in this case, if you get to see, the radius are equal. That means OP1 and OP2 is equals to the radius. OP1 is equals to OP2 is equals to what? Is equals to R, the radius of the circle. Now if you get to see, we have got the modulus of V1 vector is equals to modulus of V2 vector is equals to V. That is, the magnitude is same, only the direction is changing, right? So these two triangles are similar. When these two triangles are similar, and delta V is the displacement velocity. If these two triangles are similar, so we can have the condition that the ratio of the corresponding sides are equal. So we can write P1, P2. I'll write triangle OP1, P2 is similar to triangle. Let us name this. This is QAB. Triangle QAB. Now since the triangle is similar, so it means the ratio of the corresponding sides becomes equal. So we can write P1, P2 divided by OP1 is equals to, we can take AB divided by QA. Okay. Now P1, P2 is what? The radius. So we can P1, P2 is what? The distance that we had taken delta S. Okay. So let us take it as delta S. That is the value of P1, P2. And OP1 is the radius. R is equals to AB. If you get to see, this is delta V. And the magnitude is same. The magnitude of these two lines are same. So we can write easily V. Now the next step, we are dividing the equation by delta T. So it will be 1 by R delta S by delta T is equals to 1 by V delta V by delta T. Right? So again the next step, let's take the limit delta T tending towards 0 we have got delta S by delta T is equals to 1 by V, limit delta T tending towards 0, delta V by delta T. Now if I take, this is 1 by R ds by dt and this is 1 by V dV by dt. Okay, now you all know ds by dt gives you what? Ds by dt gives you velocity. And dV by dt gives you what? dV by dt gives you acceleration. So we can write 1 by R V is equals to 1 by V A. So we can write A is equals to V square by R. So this is the centripetals. This is the centripetal AR. A suffix R means centripetal acceleration. Okay, now this is V square by R. Now we know that V is equals to R omega. So let us substitute it. This is R square omega square divided by R. So it becomes R omega square. Now this is the acceleration. So what will be the centripetal force? Centripetal force will be equals to mass into acceleration. So this becomes equals to mv square by R. Okay, so this becomes the equation, or mr omega square. Okay, so this is what we have got, but this is for the case when the motion is uniform. If the motion is non-uniform, then you will find that one of the acceleration you are getting AR towards the center, and we have another acceleration AT acting, that is along the tangent. So this is the resultant A. Okay, so A will be equals to under root of A square T plus A square R. That is, it is the resultant of these two. For this is for the non-uniform, when the speed is not constant. Okay, so I hope you have understood how to derive the equation for the centripetal force. Thank you.